With me now, Hogan Gidley is a special advisor to the House Speaker Mike Johnson. Taryn Rosencrantz, Democratic strategist. Denise Gitsham is a News Nation contributor. And Naveen Nayak, president of the Center for American Progress Action Fund. Hello to you all. Thanks for being here. Nice to have you all in. There's two stories here, obviously, but what about that question there of how to approach anti-Semitism in this country, Denise, given what we've seen over the last, call it, 18 months or so?
Well, it's going to have to be a multi-pronged approach, and you have to attack anti-Semitism at its root. And the root right now seems to be more firmly rooted in college campuses than anywhere else. In fact, 66% of Jewish students have reported saying they don't feel comfortable exposing their Jewish identity on college campuses, and 83% of them saw an anti-Semitic event happen on their college campus. That's much higher than what you see in the general public. And even so, the ADL said that it was a 5% increase in anti-Semitic events in America over the past year, which is the highest that's ever been recorded. So we have to look at this not just as dealing as a one-off. This is something that has to be addressed systemically.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question that I think students should feel safe on college campuses, and there shouldn't be no, what we saw last night in D.C. is horrifying. Yeah. And the fact that that is on the rise in the U.S. and globally right now should be something that everyone takes really seriously. And I think there's no question that this has to be a bipartisan approach. It's unfortunate that the president is going after Harvard on this, because you actually have a president at Harvard who recognizes there are some challenges with anti-Semitism and wants to do something about it. And the president actually hasn't made his demands on Harvard about anti-Semitism. It's been a real infringement on freedom, deciding how they hire, deciding what students get enrolled, deciding what they teach in the classroom. If you look at that 10 list of demands they made about Harvard, it didn't actually lead with anti-Semitism. That wasn't the point of it. This is a part of the retribution tour, and I wish they didn't conflate those things.
You think this is a retribution tour or a reaction to what happened on college campuses, especially in the Ivies last year?
If they'd made the demands about anti-Semitism, that would have been a conversation that I think the universities would have had to engage in. Look at the 10 demands that Trump administration made of Harvard. They should not be getting, well, the conservative Republican Party used to believe in government staying out of private institutions. They're telling the institutions how to hire, who to enroll. Okay. I think that's a different conversation.
Yeah, stay out of government. You want them out of private institutions, but they take the government's money. So there's going to be strings attached when you do that.
Less of it now.
And there should be much less of it thanks to Donald Trump.
Yep.
What's concerning to me is kind of the why here, because if this were an outbreak of chants and protests against gay students or black students, correctly so, there would be a national outcry to stop this immediately. For some reason, why are Jewish students always carved out of those certain protections? That concerns me greatly. But also, I do think there's a strain and thread within the Democrat Party that supports this type of behavior. Right behind you.
No, not what behavior. Clarify behavior.
Hold on.
Clarify behavior.
This anti-Semitism
okay.
is clearly supported by members on the left, whether it's Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, AOC, Bernie Sanders calling out Benjamin Netanyahu, for example, by name, going overboard on that too. It's a real issue, and I'm glad someone's bringing attention to it.
Taryn?
I think saying things like that is the exact problem of why we can't get to where we need to be in this country. I'm a Jewish woman. I'm a Democrat. It breaks my heart that we're having that conversation, that you would say that hours after a tragedy of these two beautiful people being shot and ambushed in the way they were. No one deserves not to feel safe, and no one should be experiencing a 5% increase in anti-Semitism. And part of the reason we are is because this country has become so divisive, and it's heartbreakingly so, because our president cannot find the words to be kind. We are supposed to be humankind, and there is no part of this country. It brings me to tears, as you can see. There's no part of this country where we are talking to each other. This is an issue where we should be talking to each other how we do this the right way. And that's the truth.
I'll let you get back in here.
No, I mean, yes, we should be talking to each other. Of course we should. The question is, what are we trying to sell to each other? And right now, I think the left is clearly on the side of some really horrible thought processes. There's some hatred. You see this on these college campuses, and I'm over there all the time. I'm dealing with these congresswomen. I'm seeing what they're saying out publicly. It's extremely dangerous, it's extremely divisive, and I would call it disgusting as well. An entire segment of the population being targeted, and for some reason it's okay because they're Jewish. I don't understand it.
Do you think that it's not the same when we have a female member of Congress chasing a woman who is not our trans woman of Congress into the bathroom because she thinks that the trans woman of Congress, member of Congress, is using the wrong bathroom.
No,
I mean,
it's not even close. It's not even close. It's not the
But
same
my
thing.
point is, we're targeting people. We're not being kind. That's why why are we raising the temperature of this country? Let's bring it back down. We're talking about murder. We're talking about things that are where we have a chance to do the right thing instead of using it as an opportunity.
I think it's time to stop the violence. I think what's truly time is actually taking the steps
100%
to
agree.
end the violence, and that requires bipartisan support.
Absolutely.
But it also requires both parties calling out hatred wherever it is. And what I'm not seeing, I think AOC did a great job today coming out and saying this is wrong. Good for her. I commend her as a Republican. But where's the rest of your party when it comes to what's happening at Harvard? Why is it Republicans that had to bring out what happened at Harvard? Why is it always one side? Wait, if you really want to be kind, then you stop the violence first, and then you create a space for people to talk.
I'll give Naveen the last word.
I think this is the way the conversation always goes this way. I think violence is the right line for everyone to draw, right?
Sure.
I think there is a debate about protest and the right place there. And I think there is a conversation that should be uniting about anti-Semitism. That is not a conversation the Republican Party has wanted to join until it was in elite universities. Let's be honest. Donald Trump sat and had dinner with a Holocaust-denying anti-Semite, Hogan. Did you call that out? Did you?
Always.
You called out Donald Trump having dinner with
a
leading Holocaust denier? No. This is the point. There are people in both parties who share these anti-Jewish sentiment. And if we're not going to call it on both sides and just say that it's Democrats, we're not actually trying to have a conversation.
I think it's rich to call out people that you don't know about things that you don't know what they've done and say, did you really? I think we should all be encouraging each other to do the right thing.
Sitting down
Hold
and
on. You had your chance.
All right.
Well, no, I'm gonna
lower the temperature, and we're gonna leave it there. But it's part of the discussion, and we should keep those two and their families
always
in our thoughts.